Lollipop Chainsaw is about Juliet Starling. She's a high school cheerleader and zombie hunter as she and the wisecracking, decapitated head of her boyfriend Nick try to stop a rock band of unruly zombies from taking over her town. You probably already know whether you're down to play it based on that sentence. Suda51's new game is Buffy meets Machine Girl meets No More Heroes and is occasionally as brilliant as it sounds, though it's never quite the sum of its parts.
Douchebags!
Lollipop Chainsaw's gameplay and pacing are the best Suda's pulled off to date. It's also the most visually striking of his games and the most clever mix of his influences into a cohesive whole. The combat system's mix of chainsaw slashes and cheerleading hand-to-hand combat is very good, and the inclusion of quick-time events doesn't get overbearing or tedious. Upgrading combos and attributes happens at a fast enough pace, and chainsaw upgrades like front-mounted artillery guns and rear jet boosters add some variety to every stage. Most importantly, the slow grinding bits and strange pacing most people associate with Suda51 games are all but absent here. And yet it's all so stylistically Suda, bouncing you between things like plowing down zombie hillbillies in a wheat thresher and beaming inside an elevator action machine. Every boss is based on a musical style, and the fights are some of the most inventive I've seen in a long time. One level has you taking out a hardcore punk singer whose screams turn into actual physical manifestations of his words, and another has you fighting a psychedelic hippie sitar player who throws hallucinations at you.
This bitch is stinky.
It's fun. It's very, very fun. The musical obsession is evident in the game's amazingly awesome soundtrack, which licenses everything from Mastercraft to Tony Basil to Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and throws it alongside a great original score from Jimmy Urin and Akira Yamaoka. James Gunn's adaptation of Suda's plot smooths out all the cultural differences and does a great job of making the silly stuff fun and believable in the game world, which are two things that Suda has had problems with in the past. It's a great pairing, and it makes for some genuinely funny moments.
But whatever dude Juliet ends up with is gonna be part of the family business. What are you gonna do? Throw magic stars at chupacabras with your tongue?
Maybe, Dad. Nick's tongue is very limber.
And how do you know that?
The problem is the game can't always figure out whether it's self-aware exploitation or parody of exploitation or just exploitation. Buffy the Vampire Slayer worked as a character because she was smarter and deeper than you'd expect. Juliet is genuinely just a hot, tough ditz. If somebody said nice tits to Buffy, she'd have a witty response. When it's said to Juliet, she just sort of giggles in agreement, and it comes off pervy. Because it is, it's pervy. But while the game can be a roller coaster ride through satire and douchebaggery, it's also a genuinely fun and original action title. Amid the upskirts and the stripper pole mini-games, there's some solid combat, fun dialogue, and a game world and visual style that very few developers would be able to pull off. It's the most cohesive thing Suda51's done to date, and it bears checking out. I give it a 7 out of 10. So, what do you think about Lollipop Chainsaw? Have you played it? Do you want to play it? Let me know down below in the comments, and be sure to check out New Challenger tomorrow. Kotaku's coordinating editor Tina Amini and I are going to talk about the game a little bit more in depth, so you're not going to want to miss that. Rev 3 Games. Just be a part of it.